For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We have finally made it to the weekend, and we've made it to an action-packed weekend, whether that's football or weather. We're covering that all right here in the Room to Room Weather Center at Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Cannot be more excited to start spending my Friday here with y'all. But look at the headlines. You can see Friday night action, both weather and football. So we're going to be covering all of that here. We have some inclement, severe weather on its way, but we will continue to discuss what that entails here. And of course, our chief meteorologist, Matt Laupon, will be explaining all of that here. And he will be explaining that live out at the Game of the Week out in Baldwin. So football season back, and both our chief meteorologist and our meteorologist, Gabe Major, is out there right now discussing everything going on. But football weather, also, that is back just in the nick of time. We have had those warmer temperatures the past few days after being spoiled with those below average temperatures. But finally, that cold front moving on through will start to bring back those cooler below average temperatures for our football weather. Matt, what's it looking like out there? I know we've been placed under severe thunderstorm watch, but is the rain continuing to kind of hold off for y'all?
Yeah, we're getting ready for the Game of the Week out here, and obviously watching the skies with that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until midnight. 4 locations in Prentiss County here, though the storms at this point still about 20 miles back to our north and west. We'll look at that in more detail here in just a minute. We're at our Game of the Week location here in Baldwin. There's a tailgate going on, as you can kind of see behind the scenes here, preparing for the game. Of course, it is Baldwin versus Boonville, more commonly known as the Skunk Bowl, and certainly things are looking good out here. You can hear the music, might be a little bit loud, so I'll walk maybe a little farther away from the music so you can hear me perhaps a little bit clearer. Of course, this is a huge rivalry, a rivalry where they are tied. I mean, long-term, practically 100 years, 98 years tied, and that tie gets broken tonight. Boonville making the trip here into town, and of course, we'll talk with more details with our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, who's going to be here helping me shoot highlights for our Game of the Week. That's one of the things we'll be talking about a little bit later on. We're also looking at an incredibly close competition for our band and cheer of the week. So we'll let you know whether or not those who wins those squads. We're going to start to see that wrapping up at the end of this broadcast. So the last vote's trying to get that thing cleared up. That's the time frame to do that. But as we kind of mentioned a minute ago there are some thunderstorms generally around. As I swing my camera, you can kind of see back that direction, up to the north, closer to Alcorn County. Some of those thunderstorms there, and not impossible, a couple of those could become stronger later on into this evening. Caleb, I know that's what you are watching very closely. We'll talk more about, of course, the football end of this here in a couple minutes, but you're looking at Mississippi Live Weather Radar, right?
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. It has started to kind of build up a little bit with those fronts. We discussed a severe thunderstorm warning out in Tennessee right now, but thankfully no warnings have been issued for Mississippi. But big thanks to Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon giving us that live look out in Baldwin. Taking a look at the first 12, you can see those rain chances pretty much the story for the next 12, whether they're increasing and staying constant. You can see around 10% for 7 as the time those Friday night football games are starting to kick off, but they increase around 30% for 10. Will dwindle a little bit into those early AM hours, and I'll step over here showing how they skyrocket back into those later on in the AM hours, mid-morning, when that second batch, that actual frontal activity starts to move its way into North Mississippi. We can see this with our surface analysis with the Mississippi Live weather radar showing that cold front. That is the weather maker. That is what will be causing not only these cooler temperatures, but this active night as we continue into our Friday evening. You can see those watches already in place, pretty much covering some of North Mississippi, but Tennessee and into Kentucky as well. Some warnings in play as well, just not in North Mississippi as of yet. And we're going to want to keep that as far away as we can. But you can see those watches still in place with the radar. Some cells popping up like Matt was talking about out in Corinth. Nothing too significant as of now, but something that we're going to continue to watch here at Mississippi Live Weather. But for most of North Mississippi, we are continuing to stay dry. It's just a matter of how long will that last and for who, depending on your location. But like I've mentioned earlier, we had that severe weather risk. It got expanded from the last time y'all watched this, whether it was the evening, but our meteorologist Maggie McCauley showed us that slight risk did start to clip North Mississippi and tip Alcorn, Prentiss, Tishomingo County. Y'all are in that level 2 risk, but for most of our viewing area, we are in that level 1 risk as that cold front starts to make its way through and provide some storms for us, which is technically needed because of how dry we have been. We're in our dry season, just not wanting to the severe aspect. But looking at this cold front making its way through, you can see those cells a little bit more popular and intense in Tennessee, but they will start to clip North Mississippi, especially that cell already in Corinth. You can see it's going to continue pushing into North Mississippi and into Alabama as well. So still some of our Alabama counties could see some of those showers by the time you're in midnight and getting ready for bed. But then we return to those dry conditions, just not for long. You can see the line of storms, that real frontal activity starting to affect us in North Mississippi in those early AM hours. Like I mentioned during the 5 o'clock, you might have an alarm set without you realizing it, waking up to some thunder in the morning. And that's pretty much just going to sweep across North Mississippi into not only your morning or early morning, mid-morning. It will be active for our Saturday as well, but eventually those rain chances will start to dwindle on. We can see this with the next 24, showing those rain chances very high for our 6 a.m., 40%, 9 a.m., 50%. Then around lunchtime, we're starting to see that decline just a little bit, still around 40% by lunchtime. But once we get into those afternoon hours, you can see dwindling rain chances for some of North Mississippi, eventually returning to dry, perfect conditions here in North Mississippi. We're of course going to continue talking about those rain chances, updating them here, but showing when will it arrive in North Mississippi, who will it all affect, when and where, all coming up here in the next minute.
Up here's where your biggest risks hide: leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Meteorologist Caleb Edelblut, and we have finally made it to the weekend. We finally made it to Friday, which means you finally made it to Friday night football. Our high school football team's ready to put on a show for us. You can see those rain chances pretty much dominant across the entire forecast, showing a little bit more hesitant, 10% by pregame, but as we get into the halftime and later on in the game, those rain chances will start to increase and stay pretty consistent by the time we get to the halftime and the final snap. Of course, our chief meteorologist, Matt Laubon, and meteorologist Gabe Maynor are out in the field right now. What do you have for us out there in Baldwin?
Yeah, things here in Baldwin are obviously prepping for the big game. You can see Boonville getting ready behind me here. The Bearcats from Baldwin as well doing the same. Of course, this is a huge rivalry. I don't think anybody needs to say that more often than we already have. Certainly some of the most fierce voting that we have had for a game of the week so far. I guess we've only had 2, so I shouldn't make it sound crazy. But everyone was like, you got to come here to the Skunk Bowl. And that's what we did. And it's just so big, I had to bring our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, alongside me as well. Gabe, I mean, obviously, everyone is excited for the game tonight. What can you tell us?
Well, they're excited for the game, but not excited for the weather. As we talked about, that severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until midnight. But you're talking about the votes. And the votes, I believe they're still ongoing until our 10 o'clock show, right?
Yeah.
Well, Band of the Week, I mean, it's currently tighter than the Cheer of the Week. Cheer of the Week, actually, Baldwin overtaking that by 600 or so votes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That was tied basically last night.
Well, your picture that you posted, I guess, made Baldwin fans go and vote.
Apparently, okay.
But the Band of the Week still within 200, so, I mean, it's edged towards Boonville. And honestly, I would like an even distribution. At least Baldwin wins here, Boonville wins there. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tight vote as we.
Well, we only have like about 10 more minutes left, so folks have to really be voting.
But it's into the show.
Yeah, into this broadcast. Yeah.
Okay, well, Baldwin fans, you listen to the call. Boonville fans, now's your chance. 10 minutes, let the countdown begin. But I do want to say, with today's matchup, it's a redemption story for the Boonville Blue Devils. Oh my word! They lost last week 35-0 to North Pontotoc, and they want points. They want a win as they head into week 2 against the Baldwin Bearcats. But Baldwin, not running up. They're actually the reigning state champions from last year, looking to make that back-to-back this season. And they're wanting to take a big win in the Skunk Bowl to do so. So hopefully a big win for Baldwin, but Boonville needs to get back on track heading into the rest of the season. And the season's still young, so anything is possible. But Skunk Bowl, bigger things have happened, like a skunk running across the field. So I can say crazy things are expected on nights like tonight.
So we can't wait. And you're going to be getting all the good highlights for everyone tonight. We'll have that as at 10 o'clock on Mississippi Live Weather. And, of course, another foray into a different, experience here. We're adding at least more of a sports component and, a legend here in North Mississippi helping us out with that, Will Kohlmeyer.
Well, joining me down in the Shannon area is Will Kohlmeyer. And Will, it's a hot day for football, but everyone's ready.
It is a very warm day. It's cooking with some serious oil, no doubt. But yes, so excited. And first of all, just thank you for inviting me to be a part of your team on Friday nights, talking high school football all season long, and maybe some other days during the week as well. But yes, I am in Shannon. There's some other games that were kind of piqued our curiosity, including down the road on 45. How about Starkville at West Point? That rivalry never disappears. But I'm here in Shannon. The mighty Wildcats from Winston County are in town, Louisville. And, of course, you talk about high school football in Mississippi. You talk quickly, the school, Louisville, comes up, right? 12 state titles, second most in the whole state, only one behind West Point, a team that knocked them off 9-7 in game 1 of the season. Tonight, taking on Ken Tops and his Shannon Red Raiders. Of course, just being back here at Shannon High School brings back so many great memories of those Romero Miller teams. Remember, they had Jamie Armstrong, an outstanding receiver who also played later on at Ole Miss. So, and this is a team, Shannon, that won their opener, and they almost played Louisville last year in the playoffs. We'll talk more about that at 6 o'clock. But that win last year, they had a playoff win for the first time in 14 years. So that is a great step going forward for Shannon. And we'll see if they can pull off a big upset here tonight against Louisville.
Okay, so, a lot of big games going on out there. Of course, also the Skunk Bowl up here in the Baldwin area. Who do you think is going to win this one up here?
I tell you what, you talk about rivalries. How do you beat a Skunk Bowl? The 74th annual renewal of that rivalry. Baldwin won the state title last year. That was in 1A, so this year they're in 2A. So we'll see what they can do against Boonville. Boonville didn't show their best last week against North Pontotoc. They're looking to bounce back. And Baldwin at home, I'll give Baldwin the nervous nod at home in that one.
Okay, now speaking of some picks here, let's talk about college football. Of course, our preview of tomorrow. What do you got going on in the SEC?
Well, let's start in the afternoon. First game of the day for Mississippi schools. It's Ole Miss, the nationally ranked Rebels, up in the Bluegrass State taking on Kentucky. And, of course, Matt, Rebel fans would like to forget about last year's game in Oxford against Kentucky. That was a devastating loss and arguably kept Ole Miss out of the college football playoff. This year, different team. And I think they'll be ready. They're favored a little over a touchdown. It was almost 2 touchdowns earlier this week. And Lane Kiffin talked about it earlier this week about it seems like every year, even before he came to Ole Miss, these games are tight. I like Ole Miss winning this one in the afternoon up in Lexington. And then we come back down here to North Mississippi. Stark Vegas, the place to be for nationally ranked Arizona State in town to take on Mississippi State. Remember last year, it was all Arizona State out in Tempe in the first half. They were blowing out the Bulldogs, but a great comeback in the second half by Jeff Levy and company. They fall just a touchdown short. Tomorrow night, one of the keys is that got to stop Sam Levitt, the quarterback for Arizona State. He is terrific. He can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his legs. I think if the defense can play the way they did at times last week and keep Levitt corralled, I'm thinking upset. I like Mississippi State in that one. And then there's Alabama. Alabama fans have been reeling all week after that loss down in Tallahassee. Florida State hurt their feelings last weekend. They won't get their feelings hurt tomorrow night. For ULM, the Warhawks are going to walk into a hornet's nest tomorrow night down in Tuscaloosa. It's all Alabama in that one. And I've got my fingers crossed as well, Matt, that the weather will cooperate for all three of these games tomorrow.
We're hoping as much as well. Of course, we'll look at that forecast here in a second. Just one last question. Do you think Alabama scores more or less than 60 points as their home opener?
It's a good question, Matt. I think they can name the score. I mean, I'm surprised if DeBoer even fed them this week. They are going to be locked and loaded. They are going to be primed, and they're going to be looking forward to cause some damage tomorrow night, which I think they will. If they want to score 60, they'll score 60.
Absolutely. It's our Will Kohlmeyer and Shannon this evening. Thank you so much. We'll see you back at 6 o'clock. And then speaking about that SEC football forecast, here's Caleb.
Well, big thanks to Will Kohlmeyer for giving us those picks. I could not agree more, and I am hoping the same for my Mississippi State Bulldogs to pull the win off tomorrow at Arizona State. We can track this out here, showing that kickoff and football forecast. Beautiful conditions by the time we start off that first play, hoping that rain pushes on out, and those beautiful trend is going to continue into your halftime final snap as well. So by the time you're heading home, driving home, getting through that post-game traffic, you will see beautiful conditions and hopefully with a win. We're going to see these conditions continue into Alabama as well. They are playing their home opener as well in Tuscaloosa. Maybe a soggier start to y'all's football forecast, but those beautiful dry conditions, those will continue into the rest of y'all's evening as well. I know y'all are looking for a big bounce back win, especially being back in Tuscaloosa. Ole Miss versus Kentucky, y'all have technically the perfect forecast. A little bit of a soggy start as well, but those temperatures already in the mid to upper 60s, and this is an afternoon game as well. So beautiful football forecasts are back in the forecast for our Saturday. Day planner coming back to North Mississippi. We can see those rain chances not really starting now for most of North Mississippi. We have those pop-up showers, especially like Matt was talking about in Corinth, but those rain chances will start to pick up around 30% by 10 o'clock. And then as we get into those AM hours, still kind of dwindling before ramping back up again in those early AM hours. We can track this out on Futurecast, showing those cells really kind of hogging more north of our state line and into Tennessee. We've already seen a severe thunderstorm warning out in Tennessee as they are in that level 2 risk. But those rain chances will start to push into North Mississippi later on in our evening, especially as we're wrapping up our Friday night football game. So we are, fingers crossed, trying to keep those rain chances a little bit more behind than later so we can get those football games wrapped up. But those cells starting to push on through with that front, providing that lift. And this is prefrontal activity. Those are going to push into our area, still affecting Alabama and our Alabama counties out there, more of the state by this AM hours. But then we return to dry conditions, but it's very brief. That front really pushing on into North Mississippi, and there we go. This is the frontal activity that we are expecting, that line of storms that still can bring some hefty winds, hail, some severe thunderstorm warnings. It could be an early start for our Saturday morning, especially with how energetic these storms have been already. So definitely something to look out for, and what we are going to continue monitoring here at Mississippi Live Weather. This is at 6 in the morning, and it's going to continue pushing on through into our area and then become a little bit more disorganized as we get later on in the afternoon. Those lows, you can see where that cold front has been and where it hasn't. 62 in South Haven, Senatobia, and Tunica, but down here in the southeastern part of our viewing area, you can see 71 in Macon and Aliceville, almost a 10-degree difference, but still cool start to the day nonetheless. That football weather conditions are coming back here in the next day. You can see Futurecast showing those the line of showers is continuing into our forecast, and we're going to see that it continues to push into North Mississippi and then becoming a little bit more disorganized by the time we get into our late morning around 9:30. Still heavier portions, still kind of hogging around that slight level risk for today. Won't be that tomorrow, but you can see where those heavier showers are. And then those rain chances still continue for most of North Mississippi into the mid-morning, late morning, and into lunchtime hours as well. Still some showers, just not as intense by the time we get to lunchtime. But once we pass lunch and get towards those football games, you can see those drier conditions are trying to get back in our forecast. Starkville, Golden Triangle region, seeing some showers for their afternoon around 2:30. I know y'all are all excited for the home opener and tailgating, but as of now, could still plan for some afternoon showers. Just plan your tailgating plans around that. You see drier conditions will come back just in time for our football game. Still maybe some lingering showers affecting us at 6, but this northerly wind, I'm expecting that to be dominant in our forecast, bringing back those drier conditions and those rain chances, fighting an uphill battle from that point on. High temperatures, that will affect all of us. You can see pretty favorable below average temperatures. That cold front really made it its way through North Mississippi. Upper 70s, 77 in South Haven, Senatobia, 81 in the Golden Triangle region. So beautiful football forecast, and then 84 out here in Aliceville and Macon. Y'all will cool off. That cold front still just got to make its way through. Future heat indices. This is what I like to show off, because even though some of those 80s are showing off, you can see we're feeling like we're in the upper 70s just because it's not humid, it's not muggy like it was today. We're getting that all kind of pushed on out with that cold front, bringing in that drier air. I know Aliceville coming in at 87. Rough day for y'all, but still, it's coming. We still have those below average temperatures making their way through. Looking back at Futurecast, this is more of what I expect. I don't see those lingering showers around 6 o'clock. I think most of the moisture will be in cloud cover. That northerly wind, that will be responsible for it just continuing to push in continental dry air from the north. You can see that cloud cover really not being able to stick around much longer into our Sunday morning as well. By the time we're waking up for our Sunday morning church commute, picture perfect skies. You can see cloud cover pretty much almost Highway 182 or 82 down north of Highway 82. Pretty clear skies. And that trend will continue into your Sunday afternoon, your Sunday evening. That northerly wind dominating and pretty much just showing what that forecast is supposed to be, just dry. That is what we're expecting for Sunday. So this action-packed Friday night that we're about to have will be the most action we get this weekend and will be the best chances of rainfall that we see in the coming days. High temperatures will start to slowly increase. You can see we're in the mid 80s by the time we start Sunday. So that cold front really only affecting us today, well, today as in showers, but those temperatures for tomorrow, and then they'll start steadily increasing as we continue into the rest of the work week. Those heat indices still feeling good though. So even though we're back in those mid 80s, we're still showing low 80s, upper 70s for those heat indices across all of North Mississippi. We can see that heating trend on our 7-day forecast showing we're going from 96 was our high today to 80 for our high tomorrow for Saturday. Those rain chances, pretty much the only rain chances we will see for the rest of the work week. And I swear my mom might have some of those meteorology genes in her. She told me, she's like, we're below average, but we're starting to slowly get back to those average temperatures. So it's still technically below average. We're turning back to those average and possibly above average. You can see that normal average around 89. And there we go. Wednesday, 89. Thursday, Friday, 91 to 92. So, you know, maybe she's got some good forecasting skills, and I got to maybe learn a lesson from her as well. So I will also break down those severe weather chances coming up in the next minute. What does that entail? Tornado, wind, hail. I will explain all of that coming up here in just a minute.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
As a nurse, I've seen a lot of people with sleep deprivation. It affects their job, their home life. At Room to Room, we want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us at Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here in the Room to Room Weather Center. And as I discussed earlier, it is an action-packed Friday night, whether that is football or weather, but definitely weather. We have some severe weather risks that I wanted to talk about before we hop off. We're not expecting any tornado events. There's still a small chance, but any chances of those are more north of us in Tennessee and Kentucky. What we are focused on are pretty much wind risks and hail risk. You can see a level 1 out of 5, so not as confident on it like complete severeness. It's not going to be that intense, but level 1 out of 5 encompassing half of our viewing area, but definitely most of the northern part of North Mississippi. The same thing can be said for our wind, but pretty much encompassing most of our viewing area. You can start to see that level 2 risk as well, affecting Tippah, Alcorn, Prentiss, Tishomingo County. So still, you can expect those stronger cells affecting us here, probably some power outages, maybe some tree limbs affecting those power lines. So something to be on the lookout for. Don't park your car anywhere close to those trees or avoid those type of situations as the night progresses. Of course, I wanted to re-emphasize that the tornado, there isn't even a level risk for us. So I wanted to kind of put the graphic on, but there's no color to see. So this is more of a wind and hail threat that we're going to see. I wanted to broaden this out just a little bit so you can see the full picture besides Mississippi, especially if you have loved ones out in Tennessee. They are more in that level 2 risk. That is where you could see a small chance. I know me and meteorologist Gabe Maynard were looking at those tornado chances earlier. I think the National Weather Service said it's like a 2% chance. So you can never rule it out. We have those warnings issued at times, but this main weather risk will be hail and wind, and something that we want to keep in mind as we head into our Friday evening. But I wanted to come back on Doppler radar just to show what is going on in North Mississippi. If anything has started to intensify, you can see those watches still in effect, but those severe thunderstorm warnings staying in North Tennessee. But something I did want to point out is these total strikes. You can see how high those numbers are going, but look how much is going on. Like, where are all these lightning strikes? It's that severe thunderstorm warning just north of Savannah moving across Tennessee. So that little bit that we are seeing is showing all those lightning strikes taking place. So those storms that we could see later tonight starting to push into Tippah, Prentiss, Alcorn, Tishomingo, they are going to be energetic storms and something that we want to be on the lookout for. I'll actually step off real quick just so we can enter analysis mode so we can look at it. I believe the warnings did end up getting dropped, but I wanted to update y'all just in case, especially if we have people in Tennessee. So yep, not many warnings. Let's put it on the last hour loop. You can see those warnings issued, but then slowly starting to fade away. So probably on the decline, you can see those strikes going down as well. So it was probably as intense as it was going to get as of now and starting that decline process as well. But for North Mississippi, you can see that Corinth cell popping up, already fading away. So for Friday night football games, I know y'all's kickoff is starting soon. Y'all are good to go. Just a matter of how long can we keep it that way before we start entering those rain chances back in the forecast. Of course, you can stay updated with that here with Mississippi Live Weather, the app, iOS and Android. Best way to stay informed. It'll also send you push alerts, no matter if you're in North Mississippi, up in Tennessee with those severe thunderstorm warnings, Arkansas, wherever you are. It will continue to keep you updated here, whether you're anywhere in the country. But broadcast schedule, we will still be live here tonight at 10. I know Chief Meteorologist Matt Laubon and Meteorologist Gabe Maynard are shooting highlights. Excited to look forward to the upcoming game of the week. So they will have highlights. We'll figure out the band of the week, cheer of the week. I know the voting is closing, so y'all have a few more seconds to go and vote before they close off. But at 10 o'clock, we'll be live again tonight, and I can't wait to show y'all all the winners for the game of the week. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's evening, and I'll see y'all then.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.